While federal politics has been quite volatile this year, more gradual changes are happening at the state and territory level, which is seeing the so called rise of forever governments. The shift is seeing opposition parties slowly being locked out, primarily in Australia's southern jurisdictions, while seeing incumbent governments have their power grow. In this video, we're exploring the rise of these so called forever governments, why they're happening, and what this could mean for democracy. At first glance, the term forever government sounds simple enough, a government that lasts indefinitely. But the reality is far more nuanced. So, what does it really mean? Well, a forever government is a form of dominant party system or homogenic democracy, which sees a party remain in office over a long period of time. It's a government that can remain in power while being extremely unpopular, but unlike other hybrid regimes, can be removed given enough momentum. This is similar to so called natural governing parties. However, both are quite different. A forever government stays in power even when it's unpopular or stagnant, often presiding over structural barriers which hamper political competition. On the other hand, a natural governing party wins based on legitimacy and support of the people, while being significantly closer to its electoral base than other parties. Forever governments occur due to a combination of environmental and internal factors. So, why do they occur? We've come up with around 6 to 8 drivers. The first is favourable demographics. Regional or class alignment and migration patterns can drastically alter a composition of a state, which can reinforce existing power blocks. An example could be a state which sees a net intake of older, more conservative Australians, while seeing net migration losses of Gen Z and millennial voters. This would benefit a conservative government like in Tasmania. The second and often lesser talked about reason here is due to political and non political structural barriers to competition. Political barriers include donation laws, electoral reforms, gerrymandering, and politicisation of government institutions, as well as finance rules. These often tilt the field without violating democratic principles. Non political barriers include media monopolies and market concentration. This can quickly see one side of politics dominate the public debate, while preventing the opposition from effectively getting its message out to the community. The third reason is due to electoral systems and reforms. Systems like Hare Clark often encourage candidate based politics that rewards incumbency and name recognition. Proportional representation, while making a parliament more representative, can fracture a would be opposition party to many smaller parties, making its ability to form government extremely more difficult than that of its opponent. The fourth reason is that it can be caused by a largely incompetent, divided, and/or weak opposition party with a lack of direction. When divided and facing internal issues, it provides voters little reason to vote for the opposition, allowing the incumbent government to win by default. The fifth reason is the presence of a surprisingly popular party leader, and the populace voting based on great figures. This last point isn't explicitly a cause of forever governments, but is often attributed with or occurs alongside them, due to a combination of the previous reasons. With the criteria set out from before, we can observe that many Australian jurisdictions are in fact forever governments, with clear examples being the ACT, South Australia, and Tasmania. While Victoria and Western Australia are often classed as forever governments, they do not face the same structural barriers as other states, so we won't be including them. For the remaining states, it might be more accurate to use the term natural governing parties, such as Queensland and Victorian Labor. Anyways, this phenomenon of political permanence carries significant implications for governance, accountability, and democratic renewal. Understanding why forever governments emerge and how they shape the political landscape offers insight into broader challenges facing Australia's provincial democracies. One of the most visible criticisms of forever governments is that they can stifle innovation and create policy stagnation. When an environment for a forever government occurs, it can often lead to a situation where the incumbent government has no real incentive or isn't pressured to innovate or reform, while the opposition remains incompetent as it is unable to hold the government to account. In Tasmania, the Liberals have presided over what has largely been seen as a fall in living standards and other metrics across the board. Since 2016, the state has seen a 7% fall in Year 12 education attainment, while its public finances are in a worse condition than any other jurisdiction. Another issue with forever governments is the concern around the idea of democracy itself. With a lack of accountability, it provides a party greater freedom to engage in practices such as nepotism, soft or hard corruption. It also provides the opportunity to push through policies, which in a regular environment might struggle to hold up against scrutiny or would be unpopular to a level where the government could lose support. However, while support for forever governments is relatively rare, some within the establishment, such as traditionalists, monarchists, and certain bureaucratic institutions, argue that these systems provide political and economic stability, enable long term planning, and maintain administrative cohesion. As mentioned earlier, they can also encourage voters to select what they see as the least bad option. In this way, even within a forever government framework, voters may feel reassured that they can choose a party capable of keeping the system running and sustaining a sense of continuity, rather than taking a chance on fractured oppositions. With these systems rising across Australia, it might be worth exploring what breaks the cycle. One of the main ways this occurs is through what's called government fatigue. While this happens to all parties, the transition from one party to another can take an extremely long time in forever government systems. While forever governments enjoy a near unchallenged or relaxed mandate, this is by no means a get out of jail free card. If a government presides over multiple scandals, project blowouts, or disasters, it can lead to a point where the broken opposition can be seen as more desirable than the current government. So, while the forever government might be able to get away with most things, it can't get away with everything. Another thing is, if the government passes through massively unpopular legislation or authoritarian esque laws, if a government consistently ignores the sentiment and wishes of the people, it can get voted out. But despite this, the reality in many Australian states paints a much more stark picture. In South Australia, the SA Labor Party is set to obtain 47% on primary votes alone, while the Liberals just clenched to 21%. Looking at the two-party preferred has Labor on 66 to 34. In addition, a week earlier, over 200 members of the SA Liberal Party have quit over issues regarding the federal division of the party. If we use estimated party membership figures from the Australia Institute, the SA Liberals have lost probably around 6% of their members in just the last week alone, with total losses since the federal election ranging anywhere between 12 to 40%. However, until state Liberal parties begin releasing their membership figures again, this is likely to include a wide range of errors. Similar things are happening in other Labor forever governments, with an anonymous source from The Guardian stating that over 30% of Victorian Liberal Party memberships were not renewed after the federal election. So, while forever governments might be despised by some, they are, whether for bad or for worse, are here to stay, and especially if state Liberal divisions continue to buckle under federal and internal pressures. The news can often feel overwhelming at times, and it can be often difficult to understand with inherent biases. That's why we've started a magazine, Snapshots, which aims to make the news more accessible to all. We all know a good story when we see one, which is why we've designed our magazine around a monthly theme, so you're able to get the bigger picture of things without feeling overwhelmed. Today, we're offering a 20% discount on our latest edition of Political Violence when you use the code SNAP20. Head over to thoughtdigestmedia.news/snapshots to get your copy today. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed our explainer on forever governments, be sure to subscribe and to check out our other content. I'd also like to give a shout out to Anglo Election Insights and Aussies Elect, who are good friends of the channel and were a major resource behind the making of this video. If you're interested in further insights and projections, be sure to check out some of their content. Also, I'd like to thank our TDMG Press Club members on the screen here, who are, as always, as key to ensuring that we're able to provide quality content for all of you. If you're interested in being part of a fast-growing community, or if you just want to help out an independent outlet, be sure to join Press Club, where you can gain access to unique benefits. Lastly, I'd like to thank the rest of our team behind this video. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. Once again, I'm Heath Clark, thank you for watching, and I'll see you.